Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. When all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. He's Teddy Covers, and you're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Teddy, before we get into anything, I had a terrible Sunday. It was so crazy. I go 6-1 on Saturday, and then 2-6 on Sunday. It was my first really bad NFL week. Everything went wrong. I'm glad it's over, but I'm still up double-digit units on the season. So, like in poker, I was able to build a big enough stack to withstand a disaster. How are you, my friend, and who is on the show today?
I'm doing just fine today, Lawrence. Of course, today's Monday edition of Wager Talk Today is going to start out with Meghan Payton. She's going to talk a couple of props for Monday Night Football. We're going to talk some Kyler Murray and some DeAndre Stevenson. Marco D'Angelo is going to join us next. He's got a pair of games he's going to discuss in NFL action. Just talk about Monday Night Football tonight, Patriots and Cardinals, and as well as a look-ahead game for this coming Sunday. He's going to break down the Jets matchup as well as New York takes on the Detroit Lions. Drew Martin's going to close out the show with a couple of bowl previews. We're going to talk the LA Bowl. I think that should be called the La Bowl. La Bowl, Washington State and Fresno State, and the Las Vegas Bowl, Florida against Oregon State. My big game breakdown equals college hoops before tonight, Arizona State and Creighton. And of course, Prez, your presidential address to close out the show if we get 100 likes. Loaded Monday show. Let's get it started.
Yeah. So sorry to anybody who played only this past Sunday's NFL plays by me. I mean, it happens. It happens, Megan. It happens. How are you?
Come on, guys. How are you? Happy Monday.
Oh, thanks, Megan. I hope you had a great weekend.
I can feel the sadness in your voice, Prez. But okay, I'm pausing the show right now because I'm so in awe of your latte situation that's happening. So can we please go off the plan and you tell the whole world, what is that latte? What are you drinking?
Well, I drink the same thing every morning. It is an espresso machine, 2 shots, and of course I have a foamer. So
fancy.
Yeah,
now
good.
I can go about my day now that I know.
I have such a coffee issue. I love Teddy doesn't drink coffee. He drinks tea. I love coffee.
I need that coffee. It's Monday morning.
Yeah.
Teddy, I'm with you though. I'm a tea girl.
Yeah, I haven't drank a cup of tea in, I don't know, since my grandmother was alive, 40 years ago. Megan, you got 2 prop bets for us tonight in the Monday Night Football matchup. What are they?
I've got 2 for you. Let's start with the Cardinals. I'm looking at quarterback Kyler Murray, over 34.5 rushing yards. Murray's averaging 41 rushing yards this season. He's been a bit inconsistent, but the over on this prop has hit the last 3 or 4 games. He's fully healed from that hamstring injury. We saw him rush 56 yards last week. I expect this to increase a little bit. He's going to be going up against a Patriots defense that has had a problem this year with stopping mobile quarterbacks. Earlier in the season, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they rushed over 100 yards on Patriots defense. Justin Fields had over 80 rushing yards. I like Murray to have over 34 rushing yards tonight against the Patriots. I'm also looking at one of my favorite players in the NFL. That's running back Ramondre Stevenson. I'm going to take over 4.5 receptions for Stevenson. If this sounds familiar, it's because it is. This has been almost a lock for me week after week. I love looking at Stevenson's props. I'm so surprised that we're still seeing it at 4.5. The overs hit the last 5 of 7 games, or 5 of 6 games, that is. And I love watching Stevenson. He's this dual threat player. He's got the size. He's got the speed. Mac Jones loves throwing the ball to him. The Patriots are going to be without their star wide receiver, Jacoby Myers, who's dealing with a concussion, or is in concussion protocol. Expect Stevenson's targets to go up. They're already going up regardless of Myers. He has the second most receptions on this Patriots offense as a running back. By the way, I'm going to just throw this out there now. I know this wasn't in the rundown for me to say, but I'm also looking at Stevenson anytime touchdown. Yes, he's used in the receiving game, but he's also used on the goal line a lot. So you've kind of find a way for him to get in the end zone in 2 separate categories. It's been 4 weeks since Stevenson's had a touchdown. So that one's kind of my iffy one. But if you're feeling hot on Stevenson, why not take 2? So I've got Stevenson over 4.5 receptions, Kyler Murray over 34.5 rushing yards. And if you're feeling lucky, take Stevenson anytime touchdown.
So I want to talk about Kyler Murray rushing yards here, because this is, to me, is a fascinating handicap. You talked about the Patriots' struggles this season. I watched Justin Fields and the Bears just rip them apart. And the Lamar Jackson game was fairly similar, where they really struggled against the mobile QB. However, when you think about Belichick's track record, what does Belichick want to do? He wants to take away the one thing that their opponent wants to do most. And in my mind, for this game, for Belichick, it's not necessarily any particular receiver. It's keeping Kyler Murray in the pocket. If I'm Bill Belichick, that's the way I'm going to design this game plan. Are you worried at all about spies on Murray, about various defensive techniques to keep him from breaking out of the pocket? Because frankly, when he's on the run, when he's rolling out, he's the most dangerous weapon the Arizona Cardinals have. I would think, in theory, Belichick's going to try to do something to contain that.
Belichick's absolutely going to do his best to contain it, and he's one of the, if not the best coach to ever do it. Yet, there's a difference between letting Lamar Jackson rush for 108 yards and Kyler Murray rushed for 35 yards. If Kyler Murray only goes for 35, 36 rushing yards, it's a good day for Bill Belichick. Because we're seeing this number decently low, I like playing the over, especially due to the fact that Kyler Murray's getting healthier. This offense is going to need to find some strength somewhere. I think Murray's going to be that weapon. Take over 34.5.
Awesome stuff, Megan. We love having you on every Monday, and you can see her as well on the NFL Presidential Address. Megan, anything to promote? Where can people see you throughout the week?
I think I said this last time, but Primetime Preview's back. Plus Money Pick is back. Those always go out Friday or Saturday on YouTube. We're going to be doing a lot more fun things here. I think there might be a new show coming up, but I'll hold on that before we announce anything. But everything is, as always, on the WagerTalk TV app and on YouTube. Thank you both for having me on. I love talking Monday Night Football. Let's have a good Monday night. Go cash some tickets, guys.
Yes, Meghan Payton, everyone. Teddy, one of the most loved segments on the planet. Your B6. Everyone wants to know. Go ahead, my friend.
Let's do a little bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. A recap of what just happened this past football weekend. And if you've been playing Service Academy games over the total, I guess you deserved a break. Army, Navy, there was no offense whatsoever in that game. You had a block punt touchdown before halftime. Give us one touchdown on the board. 10-10 in overtime, and now they start scoring. 20-17 double OT, under 33. No good in that one. That was a tough beat if you had the under. How about the Chiefs yesterday? They led the Broncos 27-0 against one of the weakest offenses in the NFL. Could they cover -9? They could not. Denver with their strongest offensive showing of the year after KC started playing a whole lot of prevent. And how about the Steelers? They outgained the Ravens. Ravens playing with a backup quarterback, then a third-string quarterback by more than a yards per play. But Pickett gets concussed. Mitch Trubisky comes in and throws not 1, not 2, but 3 interceptions, all deep in Baltimore territory. Pittsburgh -1.5, -2. They lose by 2. Tough beat if you had the Steelers. When it comes to bad bets, that was Bucks money against San Francisco. Mr. Irrelevant was better than Tom Brady. And yesterday's ball game, 35-7 49ers. The Bucks money was wrong. Wise guy move on the Browns. I understand Cincinnati had some receiving issues. The Browns aren't very good. Cincy down to -4, 23-10. The money for Cleveland was wrong. And, of course, the Texans-Cowboys under got steamed, 47.5 down to 44.5. Both teams stuff at the goal line. Dak's 98-yard drive to win sent it over the total. When it comes for bad for the books, all that under money ended up losing. Bad for the books, look, the wise guys all over the Panthers. The Panthers beat Seattle wire to wire. The wise guys all over the Lions. They beat the Vikings wire to wire. There was lots of under money for the Jets and the Bills in snowy conditions in Buffalo. But overall, pretty good week for the house, especially the house, especially the books that cater to recreational players. Not a great week for the public in the NFL this past Sunday. There you have it. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. Back to you, Mr.
Teddy covers. Thank you, my brother. Marco D'Angelo joining us. And Teddy, Marco comes on the show. Dude, you are like gold, man. 14-3 run in all the plays you've given out on the show.
But it was 13-2 last time. So we only went 1-1 last week.
There you go, Marco. I apologize, Marco. Oh, God.
2-1, Teddy. 2-1, because I had a bonus play. We had the play where I sat in for you with the big game breakdown.
Yeah.
So 14-3.
Sweet. Well done. All I remember is that you were 13-2. When you were texting, when Lawrence was suffering all those bad beats.
Yeah, it was 13-2 after the Monday night game last week, whenever I was playing cards. That's when I was texting you, updating the record.
You've done very, very, very well here on Wager Talk today, as I'm sure our audience appreciates.
Yeah, there you go. And we do have a promo code for Marco. We'll give it out later on. Marco, let's get into it. We've got a big game going on tonight. New England -1.5 playing Arizona. Oh, New England wins this game. They are right in the thick of things. How should we bet this one?
Well, you got a couple teams that are, limping into this game. Obviously, you've got the Pats that are 2-3 in their last 5, but they've lost 2 in a row. Those 2 losses, though, were to Minnesota and Buffalo, both 10-3. Now, I know, the Sharps have been talking and are beating their chest today because they got the win, finally stepping in front of Minnesota yesterday. Same way with all the Sharps on Jacksonville that chase them every week. They finally got the win yesterday with Jacksonville. But it's still, those are 2 10-3 teams, no matter how you look at it or how they got to it. I look at this Arizona team, and they've lost 4 out of 5. And how many times, Teddy, have I come onto the show with you and take one of these garbage teams in prime time and tell you, Teddy, it's their Super Bowl. They're going to come to play tonight. This isn't one of those instances because I think this Arizona football team is a complete dumpster fire. I think Cliff Kingsbury's going to be gone at the end of the season. We see the handwriting on the wall. We've seen some assistant coaches already get their walking papers during the season. That's usually when a coach is trying to save his own job. And I just think there's a disconnect between him and Kyler Murray. After hitting the playoffs last year, this team came in with high expectations this season. The fact that they're 4-8 also ran. I can't see Kingsbury selling the rah-rah. This is our Super Bowl on Monday Night Football. Also, little startling note, if you look at Arizona, they did make the playoffs last year. And as I said, they're 4-8 this year. If you remember last season, didn't they start the year 7-0 and then just absolutely limp to the finish line? So we're talking about from the midway point of last year till now, this Arizona football team has not been good. And they struggle to score. We know Kyler Murray is a running quarterback, and that has given New England problems in the past. But I look at this team, and defensively, you're talking about the number 7 ranked defense, both yards per play and points per game, and are going to be going up against Arizona, who on the flip side is at the bottom of those categories. I'm going to go ahead, take the hoodie and Bill Belichick to get the job done tonight. Pats 8-1 last 9 when they're coming off a home loss, and 6-0 against the spread if that loss was by 10 points or more. I got more faith in Bill than I do Cliff. I'll take the Patriots and Belichick tonight.
Marco says, look at New England minus the points. Here's my question for you, because, Arizona coming off a bye, to me, that's meaningful. And that's probably the only reason I don't have New England on my card tonight. If you watch Carolina play against Seattle yesterday, it looked like one team was fresh and one team was tired. And when you talk about a late season bye, teams that haven't had a break 10, 11, 12 weeks into the campaign, they finally get one. Sometimes they come back re-energized. The quotes coming out of Arizona this week weren't bad quotes. They weren't, hey, we're done quotes. Do you worry at all that the bye week has given, we all know what Kingsbury's track record is in November, December. They've had, they've been bad each of the last 2 years, real bad down the stretch. But do you worry at all that post-bye, they'll be the team with more energy here, which in this point spread range could make all the difference?
It's a good point, Teddy. The only thing that negates that is New England's coming off a Thursday night game, so they got extra days too. So that kind of negates it. So that's that one. And for the other thing about the quotes coming out of Arizona, have you ever heard a coach come out and say, we suck, the season's over? What do you expect them to say, Teddy? That's my response to that one.
Marco D'Angelo joining us, everyone. And guys, we got a promo to give out. Marco's really, you've been rolling, man. 14 winning days out of 16. So that's a 14-2 run. 41-20 over that time period. The next week, Marco, 7 days, all access. Marco D'Angelo, only $77. Use the promo code WT77. WTT, WagerTalk Today. WTT77. Anything to add to that?
No, and this is the only place that this is available to you guys as viewers, saying thank you for you guys having me here every day. And full disclosure, one of those 2 losing days, guys, was yesterday. I was one of those guys on Cleveland yesterday. That was my 5% play. Full disclosure, we tell you when we lose. I went 2-3 for the day. The pivotal play for the day that cost me a winning day was that last second field goal whenever there was a 21-second differential in the clock in the Minnesota game. I had Minnie on a teaser with Baltimore, which that one went up in smoke at the end there. But we'll talk about Detroit a little more with our next game.
Excellent stuff. Okay, Marco, you want to talk Jets and Detroit? This Detroit team, man, they are really hard to stop offensively, and the Jets' defense is spectacular. This is a game that's going to come down to who controls the pace. If it's a high-scoring game, it's got to be the Lions. If it's a low-scoring one, the Jets. Where are you going?
Well, guys, as Teddy says, and, looking at the market, you want to find, buy low, sell high. Right now, the stock on Detroit is through the roof, and why not? They've won 5 of their last 6 games. All of the sharps, as I alluded to, were loving Detroit yesterday against the Vikings because they were making the play more against the Vikings with the numbers that, their record shouldn't have been 10-2 based on their stats for the season. Yeah, I get all of that. But let me break that Detroit game down for you yesterday. They did beat Minnesota. They were +2 in turnovers. That was the first advantage for them. One of those turnovers came by the running back Cook inside the 10-yard line when Minnesota was going in for a score. Also in that game, they had to run a fake punt to keep a drive alive that ended up resulting in them scoring. Then at the 2-minute warning, they needed to get a first down to ice the game. Well, ice the game minus 21 seconds because they had to kick the field goal at the end. That trick play, give Dan Campbell credit. 3rd down, he threw a pass to the tackle for the first down. So they had to do a lot of extraordinary things to get that win yesterday against Minnesota. Now they go on the road. Everybody's feeling all fat and sassy about the Lions. Here's my point. Those teams that they beat, Green Bay, Chicago, Giants, Jacksonville, and Minnesota. Minnesota's the only team that they beat with a winning record during that. Now they're going to be playing the Jets. Here's the thing. Jared Goff's having a great year. Jared Goff doesn't perform the same in cold weather. He's not going to be playing in the Detroit, indoors, comfy confines. He's going to be in New York outdoors in December against the number 1 ranked defense against yards per play. Yeah, I know there's a quarterback situation in New York. We're not sure who's going to go. This play for me is based on the defense. I am going to go ahead and take the Jets. I have the Jets winning this one 24-17. And the way the market's shifting, this opened the Jets -1. I'm seeing a lot of pick'ems already. This could cross over to Detroit being a favorite. And if that happens, Teddy, I will have several New York Jet teasers on my resume portfolio come Sunday.
So in hearing you talk about the game, and again, I'm just hearing, it sounds like you like the under as much as you like the side.
Yeah.
Just in hearing you talk about it. And I just got, Mike White, and the Jets offense has scored 2 touchdowns the last 2 weeks. They're not trading points with anyone. If this game is a relatively high-scoring affair, I think that does not bode well for the Jets. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, yes. Correlated parlay would be Jets and under, Detroit and over.
Do you trust Mike White? Do you trust the Jets offense to work this week?
This is a spot that, again, you're talking about a Detroit Lions defense that is not, stellar in any fashion either. As I said, going back to the gadget plays and the fumble, a lot of things had to go right, and for Dan Campbell to pull out a couple, trick plays. I mean, give him, he had a big set of to run the fake punt where he did at the position in that game. And to me, you can look at that both ways. He's got confidence in his team to execute, or he doesn't have as much confidence in the defense that he needs to get more points, and he knows that. So I think Detroit is going to be in trouble this week playing outdoors. I think the Jets will have a little more success no matter who they put under center.
Yeah, I mean, look, Marco, the Detroit defense has definitely improved. That is for sure. But I think the weather, the outdoor factor is going to be huge in this game, especially with all the weapons that Detroit has. And, hey, maybe you're going to get a whole lot of snow and wind. Marco D'Angelo, everyone, WTT77. That is the promo code to buy 7 days. All access pass for Marco. The last 16 days, Marco went 41-20. 41-20. Outstanding stuff, man. Now get out of here. Dan, commercial break. Teddy's big game breakdown. And, of course, Drew Martin still to come.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk some Monday night college hoops on a neutral floor right here in Las Vegas. Arizona State and Creighton right now. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen. Creighton's a 4-point favorite on the neutral floor. The total's been bet up. There were 139.5 last night. I'm seeing 142s as a prevailing number now. And with this line holding with Creighton -4, I am assuming, I'm not sure, but I am assuming that they're going to have Kalkbrenner, their big 7-foot center, back in the game, back in the lineup tonight. He missed over the weekend against BYU, and it was a significant problem for Creighton. They got out-rebounded 50-29 in that ballgame and created only 20 points in the paint in the loss. Without Kalkbrenner in the low post, Creighton's no good. He's supposed to be back tonight. He's not 100%. He's sick, and he's going up against a 7-footer. And Arizona State has played ridiculous defense so far this season. This is a squad that had some early season struggles. They lost a key player in Bagley who left the team. The market's crashed on them. All they've done since is win 7 in a row. While Creighton has lost each of their last 4. Arizona State's playing remarkable defense right now, inside the top 10 in both 2-point and 3-point defense when it comes to effective field goal percentage. They forced Colorado into 20 turnovers when Arizona State rallied back from a 15-point second-half deficit to win that ball game. And I'm not convinced that Creighton is going to get those extra possessions. The Creighton Blue Jays defense not about creating turnovers right now. I think this line, again, is based on what Creighton looked like a month ago. Again, they started 6 straight wins. They beat Texas Tech. They beat Arkansas. They beat teams that the markets are excited about. They're not playing at that level right now. Arizona State plays defense. We like that. That carries over to a neutral floor. Ride the hot, fade the cold. Even the Sun Devils, plus the 4 against the Blue Jays in college hoops action on Monday. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy covers. Creighton is yours. You know, I was in Philadelphia.
No,
10
Arizona
years.
State is mine.
Arizona State. I was sorry, Teddy. I was in Philadelphia, like, I don't know, 10 years ago. I hop into the elevator and there is like half the Creighton team. I felt very short. Anyway, the coach was so nice. I don't know if it's still the same one. I don't even remember what year it happened. This is what happens when you age. 3 years ago feels like yesterday. What?
This is what happens when you have too many edibles, Prez.
Yes, that too. Drew Martin joining us. What's up, Drew?
Good to be on with you boys, talking about the Creighton Blue Jays, Prez. Did you know that? The Blue Jays of Creighton?
I did. Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't get half of these names. I don't understand why Toronto's the Blue Jays. But anyway, I don't get to name these teams. Drew, how was your weekend?
Terrible. No hiding from it in this business. It happens. I went winless Saturday. Lost a big one yesterday. So, Saturday college basketball went down. Sunday, I took the over in the Miami Dolphins Chargers game and Sunday night football. Let's just say it didn't get to the over, Prez. So, new week couldn't get here fast enough, and I'm in bounce back mode, my man.
Yeah, dude. Listen, I feel it, man. Like, I don't know how bad you take it, but like, for me, it's crazy. I woke up Sunday morning on a 20-5 all sports run.
Nice.
And then just watched the whole freaking thing blow up. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And when you're on a 20-5 all sports run, you're like 6 out of 10 happiness. Then you go 2-6 in NFL and you're at like, distraught at another level. The happiness, the highs are not that high and the lows are low as shit. Anyway, you're on a 10-1 college football run. You went 64% last season in college football. We're going to talk 2 bowl games. We're going to start with the LA Bowl, Washington State at Fresno State. Where should we go in this one, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely, Prez. I mean, the break in college football, it was terrible. I was seeing it so well, man, 10-1. But, we're getting after it. Bowl season starting this Saturday, guys. So, check out WagerTalk.com. A lot of free stuff up there. And get the bowl season packages as well. But starting off here, we get the LA Bowl, the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, by the way. Fresno State, Washington State, 54.5 being the total. -3, that's the Bulldogs, Fresno State. Interesting because, of course, it's Pac-12 versus Mountain West here. It's the Mountain West champions. That's Fresno State. They were 9-4 straight up, guys. However, just 6-7 against the spread. I like looking at spread records, Prez, mainly because it gets the price point of where the market has been pricing both of these two teams coming into the matchup. And looking at Washington State's side of things, 7-5 straight up. They were underpriced this season, 8-4 against the spread. If you don't know their story, guys, their quarterback transferred up from the FCS level Incarnate Word. He's pretty good. He runs around. He's accurate. And his head coach there at Incarnate Word became his offensive coordinator at Washington State. So they got out to a good run. They were scoring some points. Offense kind of trailed off a little bit at times. But both defenses were surprising here, Prez. Both defenses top 33 in the nation in scoring defense. Both also went 0-2 against common opponents, that being Oregon State and USC. So each of them lost both of those games to those two. But it's all important here, Prez, the transfer portal. And guys, before I get into like this matchup, I do want to clarify the transfer portal this season in particular is the most important, in my opinion, since it's been invented, since in our lifetimes. And the reason being, if you go back to when these guys were, juniors and seniors in high school, some of these players didn't even play high school football. If you remember, in some of the states, they didn't play high school football seasons. So I think that this year in particular, a lot of guys were over and under recruited. So this transfer portal season, this offseason is going to be of the utmost importance. And sure enough, we get Washington State, 4 starters hitting the transfer portal, including 2 wide receivers that start and also 2 linebackers. So we're going to have to see how that affects it. It's a very difficult handicap, how these backups step up and do. Fresno State has 3 hitting the transfer portal, to my knowledge. I don't believe any of them starters, maybe one guy. I believe he rotates in. So I think that actually favors the Mountain West team. And, of course, motivation getting up against the Power 5 team. I do kind of agree with this move. Their quarterback, Jake Haener, looks to be playing in this bowl game. So I at first glance here, guys, it's not something I kind of fired away on, but I think Fresno State might be the side in the LA Bowl.
So Fresno stats with Jake Haener at QB versus the few games that he missed, night and day. And they're a team whose season-long stats are slightly off because of that. Haener missed 2 or 3 games. And Fresno was awful offensively in all of those contests. With Haener back, they were good enough, obviously, to beat Boise to get to the Mountain West. But, when you grade out the personnel here, isn't Washington State the better team? That's the problem I'm coming up with this one. I understand from a motivation standpoint, and all bowls are is motivation. You don't want the better team necessarily. And yet, I keep saying to myself, I think Washington State's a better team. What do you think?
I think it's a great point. It's going to happen, that kind of handicap, Teddy. And I'm with you. I don't know that it's all that important of a handicap outside of the playoff games. Who has the more talented roster is pretty much the question here. And sure, the Pac-12 roster, how many guys on Fresno State got offered a scholarship to play at Washington State? Actually, there might be a few. But in a lot of these cases, it's not like every guy on the roster or even a couple guys on the roster. So to your point, Washington State, top to bottom of the roster, probably does have a more talented roster. However, a lot of this is motivation. A lot of this is quarterback play, how the timing with the wide receivers, and do they have enough time to throw the football? All signs are kind of pointing towards Washington State having the advantages there. That's why I kind of agree with this line move. It's something, Washington State opened -1.5. Now it's as high as Fresno State -3. These line moves in college football bowl season, guys, got to pay attention. Very important, and it's pointing towards Fresno State.
Drew Martin joining us, everyone. Drew, before we continue, a bunch of people in the chat are talking about Miami last night. The refs were against them, blah, blah. Guys, I don't know if you watched that game, but man, there was at no time did Miami deserve to win that football game last night. Tua's arm looked horrific. Yeah. His balls were floating. There was no zip whatsoever. That game was lopsided from start to finish. Anyway, 18 more likes if you want a daily presidential address. My man, we're talking Florida, Oregon State -10.5, a total of 52.5. Drew Martin, one of the best college football experts I know. How are we betting this one?
What a game here, Prez. First of all, Las Vegas Bowl is always one of my favorites, of course, being in Las Vegas. And also, I love that we're getting the SEC and Pac-12. I don't know that they've ever really had a bowl tie-in, at least in the last, decade or two. something I've been wishing for. So we get it here, hopefully going forward. SEC Pac-12 in the Las Vegas Bowl, 2:15 on Saturday. So kind of simultaneous games. The one we were just talking in this one between the Gators and the Beavers. Huge move here, guys. -5 to -10.5 now at some sports books. -10 is what we're showing. That's Oregon State as the favorite. Big move towards the Beavers, 52 being the total. And a big reason why is the transfer portal for the Gators. A lot of guys hitting it, including their quarterback, Anthony Richardson. He's going to attempt to make the NFL here. He declared for the NFL draft. In my personal opinion, not a very good sign. I don't think he's ready for the NFL. And with his kind of skill set, I think another year in college would have done him very well. But hey, good riddance. He's gone. And we got a third string quarterback here. Jack Miller is going to be taking snaps for the Gators. He's a transfer from Oregon State, 4-star prospect to the Buckeyes, transfers here to Florida, playing under Billy Napier. And you might ask, well, third string, what happened to the second string? Well, he got arrested, thrown off the team. And also Jack Miller, in preseason, he hurt his hand, so he really didn't participate in practice, became healthy, and then by the time he was ready to go, he was already the third string quarterback. So one thing I don't think the market is fully in tuned here, Prez, is because it's been a huge move towards Oregon State. This isn't like, oh, the third string quarterback is going to, have to play from Saturday to Saturday and get ready, 3 practices with the first string guys. This is more, he's got 15 practices to get ready. I think that actually might help him in being prepared for this bowl game. So look, obviously Oregon State, 9-3 straight up, 10-2 against the spread. They've been an absolute wagon, winning 6 straight games. So you can see why the market is liking the Beavers here. They've had a great season. However, Prez, I don't know, man. 6 straight covers, tough to step in front of. But at this price point, plus 10.5, I'd actually be the only person I've heard say this. Maybe look towards the Gators plus the double digits. Go against kind of the mainstream here.
Oh, it feels like a lot of points for Florida, even without, what do they got? 15 guys going to the transfer portal for the Gators. And again, with the new coaching staff at the end of the year, I'm not surprised to see something like that. But I want to ask you this, Drew, because you say the line opened 5. I mean, one global book had a 5, and it was a bad number. Circa opened 9. Circa opened 9. Westgate opened 9.5. South Point opened 10. There was a couple of books that opened, again, global books that opened with short limits and priced this game real low. And obviously, once the markets were established, even at a modest level, everyone knew that Florida was going to be double-digit dogs or close to it in this one. When you talk about that initial line move, is that one book putting up a bad number, or is that a broader market take there with all of this money for Oregon State?
Interesting question, Teddy. To tell you the truth, I'm not 100% sure. I didn't go down and break down the line movements, but I mean, to your point, yeah, maybe we shouldn't go off of that opener in terms of $500 limits on a global book like you're talking. Yeah, I guess I don't know fully here, but yeah, I guess you could kind of follow this move. I guess so from 7 or 8 up to 10.5.
So Oregon State opened at Circa at 9, and Circa is usually the first book in Vegas to open. They opened at Westgate at 9.5. Those lines were up last Sunday night. They opened at South Point at 10. So in terms of the those are the numbers that I'm calling my openers. I write down the numbers. I wrote the numbers Sunday night last week. I think it was Sunday night, and those are what the market numbers were there are what I'm calling my openers, even though they're not the official openers. Each book opens in a different place.
Well, Teddy, and to that point, I would want to go through, and I don't think we have time. It wouldn't be kind of good TV here for Wager Talk today. But I would want to go through and say, did Circa open that number at 9? And the global book, like you're talking about, very, very prominent global book, by the way, was still at 5.5? Because if that's the case, that would interest me. However, if Bet Online or a global book opens at 5 and then takes these $500 bets up to 8.5 or 9, and then Circa opens at that, that's a different story, because then they're just kind of copying the global book like you're talking about. Whereas if these guys behind the scenes, Matt and them at Circa, are making the line and jumping out, I would kind of respect it a little bit more. It's almost two different things.
Yeah, Circa's not copying someone's lines. Circa's putting up their number and letting the market fall where they are.
I know that they're going. I know that. Are you 100% sure in that? Because obviously they're going to say that.
1,000% sure. Yes.
Okay. There we go. Guys, Drew Martin, everyone, we got a great offer for everybody. If you want to play Drew, and remember, he's a 10-1 in his last 11 college football bets. Use the promo code DREW33. That's DREW33. You get $33 off of any package that you buy, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, a seasonal, whatever it is. 33% off of any Drew Martin package. Unbelievable handicapper, guys. Money well spent. Drew, anything else, my brother? You got a show coming up with Teddy in a few minutes.
Yeah, bounce back mode, guys. And to Prez point at the beginning, this business up and down, but I'll tell you this, Prez, one thing I've learned is when you're down, you've lost a couple games in a row off of a bad weekend, that Monday is a great day to get after it handicapping wise. So that's what I'm doing, digging deep into these numbers, finding some winners. That's the way, almost use the stones as stepping stones. Don't let them get you too down, guys, if you had a bad weekend. So use them as motivation and find those winners. So thanks, Prez. Thanks, Teddy. And yeah, guys, check us out. NFL opening line report here coming up at 1 o'clock Eastern.
There we go. Drew Martin, everyone. Dan, cue it up, baby. All right, guys, it's time for your daily presidential address. I got some hockey bets for you tonight, but before we get into that, I just want to apologize to all my clients who bet my plays only on Sunday. And the reason I say only on Sunday was I absolutely destroyed it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, a 6-1 day. Sunday was a disaster, 2-6 for my clients. I'm still reeling. But, man, I am up in everything. My college hoops right now, I'm on a 7-1 and 14-4 college basketball run. I'm on a 16-4 basketball run in total. I'm on a 3-0 and 7-2 NBA run. I'm up in college. I'm up in NBA. I'm minus half a unit in NHL, and that will change tonight. I'm up double-digit profits in NFL. So Sunday's going to happen, but I am destroying it right now and everything else. Here are some NHL bets for tonight. First, I like the over in Calgary and Montreal. Calgary and Montreal to go over the total of 6. I like the Pittsburgh Penguins minus 130 against Dallas. And I like the New York Rangers minus 114 to beat the 21-5 New Jersey Devils. So there you go. Pittsburgh, New York Rangers, and the over in Montreal. I've got 2 college hoops plays tonight, 1 NBA and 2 NHL. I love you all. Teddy, my brother, we made your heart out. Take us home.
That's going to wrap it for the Monday edition of WagerTalk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, you guys know what to do. Enjoy the games, and good luck with your wagers on Monday night.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.